Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you guys are all enjoying your wonderful day, and this will be another weather forecast here. I do apologize for not posting for the past 2 days. I've been very busy, whether it was school on Friday, and then yesterday I was in Alpharetta all day, so I really do apologize for that. Obviously, Alpharetta's not too close from where I live, so it was kind of an all-day event. But in this video, we're going to be talking about for the potential for a snowstorm next week here. So it's not super duper close from now. However, it's 6 days out, so it's about time to start mentioning it so you guys can get prepared way ahead than what local news stations or any other channel really does. So we really keep an eye on this. This isn't guaranteed. However, there's a great probability that this midwestern snowstorm and as well potential eastern snowstorm can occur, especially as models continue to forecast it very consistent. The other thing that we really need to get a closer eye on is the actual location and accumulation, but the general snowstorm is very likely. However, models don't know where this will go after it passes the Midwest, the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley. That's exactly where we have to continue to forecast this throughout this week here. But before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to learn more about this potential snowstorm, whether it'll impact you, be sure to hit the post notification icon so you get notified as soon as I do a video so you don't miss out on anything or any new data. And as well, if you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the comments below and I'll do my best to respond. As of course, I get sometimes overloaded by comments in one video, but I'll do my best. So here's looking at the GFS. So this is now by this Saturday, it's the 23rd. Of course, it's 6 days out. That snow will continue to develop here across the western plains and portions of the Rockies. So it's going to start off as a normal mountain snowstorm with that low pressure down the southwest. Could some snow there, as we will see our first Arctic blast or cold air move into the western United States at this point. So this will be our actually first snow in a while in some of these areas in the southwest. It's been so dry and hot, so take advantage of this because there could be some snow now in areas in western Colorado, northern New Mexico, Arizona, and the Four Corner State region. So definitely take advantage of that as warm air will settle in after this. But this cold air will allow for this storm to develop here with that low pressure, taking advantage of that cold air. And later by January 24th, by next Sunday, so around this Sunday, 7 days out, so exactly a week from now, this snow will continue to really develop there. A very strong low pressure. This could also bring in potential for some blizzard warnings here, because we're looking at very strong winds. So again, really a big move to say blizzard warnings a week out. I'm just saying there's a possibility if this occurs, which it can obviously, we could see some whiteout conditions. Obviously, this can change a lot, so don't take my word at all for it. I'm just saying if this happens with this very strong low pressure, with this very strong wind, you see those isobars, there's a chance for another storm to bring in whiteout conditions for some areas, specifically in the mountains from this storm here. But look at that very heavy snow across those areas there in the upper Midwest, the Dakotas, Minnesota. And just watch now that cold air. There's that high pressure right there in southern Canada. That's going to allow for that very cold air here. So we're going to be seeing obviously the polar vortex breaking off, and it's going to bring a very, very cold air now into the western United States, or more like the northwest, north central, and even as well the northeast. So it's going to bring a lot of cold air for the upper United States there. There's that low pressure. It's going to take advantage of that cold air. So any precipitation north of that low pressure could actually become very heavy snow across areas like Minneapolis, Wisconsin. Again, areas that got blizzard warnings last week or a few days ago with that past storm. You guys looking at another big storm upcoming next week here, as well potential ice threat for those areas up there in the Midwest. Again, this will change a lot, so don't take this 100%. I'm just mentioning the idea of a potential snowstorm here. I'm not talking exact locations. I'm just saying this is a possibility here, and it's pretty likely. I mean, this a snowstorm to develop in the Midwest next week is definitely, or late this week into the weekend is very likely, and it'll carry on, of course, now into Monday as well, Monday of next week there. And then really watching out as the cold air continues there, the high pressure moves in more to the south there. It's going to bring even more and more cold air across areas like the upper Midwest, their Great Lakes, and Northeast. So again, don't take this 100%. It could very well move into the eastern United States as well, looking at Boston, something like that. So we're looking at a very widespread snowstorm, not just a Midwestern snowstorm, but that's the Midwest is where we have a very great probability for this to happen. So if you're in the Midwest, the chances of you getting this snowstorm is really increasing. However, if you're more to the Great Lakes and Northeast, it's lower because really it can change a lot once the storm moves out of the Midwest. So definitely I'm just mentioning early just to spread the idea of a potential, not guaranteed, but a potential snowstorm. So again, please don't take this for 100%. But however, it's almost 100% to happen if you're up there in the Rockies, there in upper Utah. Of course, that snow would begin into areas like Wyoming and Colorado. So if you're in those areas, obviously you have the greater probability to actually see the snow. But the more east you go, the lower the probability is. You just gotta wait a bit more, obviously, for more data. But obviously, mention the idea. Now, it's really 6 days out. Is always something to really keep in mind there. But this is, of course, by this Saturday, the 23rd. And then we continue to see that snow. So the European kind of shows it's staying more to the south. So again, location and accumulation will be the main topics for this upcoming snowstorm to go on from now to next weekend. So between this whole 6 days, we're going to be watching the regions that can get affected and the accumulation. So the European taking it more south. So Chicago, Des Moines, you guys as well may get another snowstorm. You guys just got snow a few days ago. So definitely something to really keep in mind there. And look, moving all the way down way more to the south there. Again, like I said, the chance for a mid-Atlantic snow with this is a probability. However, of course, the GFS takes it only up to the New England area. So once you get, of course, the more east you go, the lower the probability. So really, models still obviously will disagree. But European getting in a big snowstorm for the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. Richmond getting some snow. Baltimore getting some snow there as well. New Jersey, New York City. Looking at a coastal storm as well. So again, once it moves out of the Midwest, that's where things will get interesting here. But again, no guarantee whatsoever unless you're in the Rockies. That's where obviously there's definitely a way greater probability. But of course, the Europeans should have a very big snowstorm, though, up to 7 to 11 inches of snow across here, like the Twin Cities in southern Minnesota, upper Iowa, portions of the Dakotas there as well, carrying on to Wisconsin. We could see very heavy snow, of course, but really the whole upper Midwest will potentially see snow if the European plans out as well, even out there into the southern Midwest if that happens. The southern Midwest, European, then that could obviously be a probability there for Chicago, down to areas like Ohio, into even Indiana. So definitely something to really watch out for if the European happens. Of course, GFS takes it more to the north. However, European takes it more towards the south, kind of. But this is obviously very far out, so I'm not going to give you exact totals for your city with the video itself. But if you ask in the comments, then I'll give you my best probability. Of course, this is still just under a week out here. And then, of course, the GFS takes a way different approach here. So this is actually the GFS. So they obviously have a different approach to this. Actually, make sure this is, yes, this. Oh, I do apologize. This is actually the GFS. This is the GFS. I knew something was up. Okay, so the GFS. This is the GFS. I do really apologize. I was like, hold up, that doesn't make sense. So GFS, way heavier snow, more to the north. European, different approach, more to the south. You kind of see these upper areas, like the Dakotas, upper Wisconsin, Minnesota. You guys getting a lot of snow. Trace to an inch. Obviously, that will differ later on, but the heaviest snow will occur according to the GFS, or according to the European areas of Des Moines, Nebraska. Of course, the heaviest snow will occur in the Rockies. So GFS is really more to the north, areas like Minneapolis, the Bismarck there, Eau Claire. However, European taking it more to the south, like Chicago, Madison, Des Moines. So big differences between the GFS, very heavy snow across the upper Midwest there for the big cities, but obviously more to the north. But again, European, big difference. So accumulation of region is the big question. I think the question that really isn't too important Well, obviously, it's the most important question whether this will actually happen. But if if this happens, which is really a decent probability that this snow will happen, is great. However, the question after that, once we get the answer to the other one, is whether it'll actually affect the Midwest or will it affect somewhere else. So that's kind of the question here. Here's looking at the Mid-Atlantic here, really watching out what could happen here. So Mid-Atlantic in Eastern United States, can you guys get affected by this? And where? That's also a big question, because obviously this is looking now at the European. They show that snow kind of sticking towards, this is actually before the snowstorm here. So this is what we have by Sunday. This is by this Sunday. Not today, but obviously 7 days from now. This is what we already have on the ground. This is not from the snowstorm here. But as we now get later on, there's that snow according to the Europeans. So we're looking at a few inches for some of these areas here. So we're not looking at 6 inches for Columbus. We're looking at 3 inches because obviously we'll have 3 or 2 inches between now and before the snowstorm, and then additional snow will come in. So we're looking at maybe a few inches, maybe 3 inches for Columbus there from this actual snowstorm if it happens. Maybe a few inches there for Indianapolis, as well as some snow is possible up there, of course, in the Mid-Atlantic, up to 10 inches there in West Virginia, and a few inches in the eastern coast near Baltimore, even outside near D.C. Of course, this is definitely the least likely outcome. I believe this Mid-Atlantic system, eastern coast, New Jersey, Baltimore, Delaware, I think that's the least likely probability once the storm moves out the Midwest. But again, this is according to the European. They take a way different approach. And this is looking at the GFS. So let's get ahead on what they show. So GFS shows a more northern approach, getting that snow up there in the Adirondacks, off Lake Erie. Of course, they do have some snow likely for these areas. In the Mid-Atlantic, it's just really least likely, or at least a lot less snow, maybe an inch or so. However, of course, a bigger and different approach up there to the northern United States there. So different outcomes, really. There's a lot of questions with this snowstorm. So really, it's just who can get affected. Midwest is definitely the most likely after the Rockies, and at that point, it's really different. Will the Ohio River or Ohio Valley get affected? Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, we guys get affected. So this could very well be a large and widespread snowstorm from the Rockies to the east. It's just the question, where will it go? Who will it affect? Snow accumulations and regions. Those are like the big four questions, because obviously this snowstorm is very likely to occur. So we're not really questioning whether the snowstorm will happen. We're just looking at really region, snowfall, all that, blah, 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 those great details. So obviously, since I mentioned this so early in this video, this won't have a lot of great details, but as we get closer, now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, this week, I'll have a lot of greater details, start showing more models. So if you're not intrigued with the snowstorm, trust me, by later this mid this week, we'll have a lot of greater details for you guys. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video as well, and bye guys.